And I'm going to do the Facebook Live. All right, it's preparing to go live. I hope everyone's doing well today. And we are officially live. I'm going to begin the video. And we will begin the conversation.
All right, welcome to Strollo University. We hope you enjoyed today's class. Please keep checking our website at cflf.org/StrolloU and or our Facebook page and Instagram pages for class updates. This is actually the last week we're doing Strollo U, so Sunday is the last day for classes. And today for our CF community resources, we have Rod and Mark with CFvests4life. Thank you to our sponsors, Nestle Health Science, Beatrice, and Chiesi. All right, Rod.
Oh, thank you so much for having us. My name is Rod, and this is Mark Tremblay, and he and I are the co-founders of CFvests4life Foundation. Just really quick, what we do, it's very simple. We take vests from people who no longer need them for whatever reason, and we transfer them to CF patients from all over the world. So far, we've donated 97 vests to CF patients in 28 countries. By the end of this month, we'll have sent out exactly 100 vests, and that'll be to 29 countries. So I could just start out with just a quick story of how we started with CFvests4life. It's kind of neat. Was back in January of 2020, I received a message from a girl who I had no idea who she was. She was from Chile. Her name was Vale. And out of the blue, she asked me if I had CF. I'm thinking, whoever this is, I said, yes, I do. She asked me, can you get me a vest? My first thought is, first of all, who are you? Why are you asking for a vest? That makes no sense. Why would I give anybody a vest? Those are expensive, this and that. So I kind of sat on it for a while and I thought, what the heck? I had my transplant, so I wasn't using my vest. My vest was on the floor to my right. I thought, oh, sure. Maybe she's a fraud, maybe she's not, but I'm not using the vest, so I'll just give it to her. I sent it to her, and eventually I sent it to a friend of hers, and the friend sent it to her in Chile. So I thought that was that, kind of weird, but that was that. It was about a month later, I got a message from someone else who I didn't know. This guy was Mohammed from Lebanon. He asked me if I had CF. I said I did. And he asked me if I'm from the US. I said I was. He asked me, can you give me a vest? I thought, first of all, who are you? Who are you? I don't know you. Why are you asking for a vest? This is just weird. Why would anybody give a vest away? This makes no sense. So I thought, well, what the heck? I said, I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to be able to get a vest. Who's going to give a vest away? So I put on Facebook, Mohammed in Lebanon needs a vest. Can anybody get one for him? And this young lady, Dani from Ohio, she responded to me, yeah, I can get Mohammed a vest. So I facilitated the transfer of the vest from Ohio to Lebanon. And I thought, okay, well, this is that. So 2 vest transfer, this is weird. maybe there's something to it. So I kind of sat on it for a couple of months. It was in maybe March. I was on a BreatheCon conference, and I happened to partner with Mark. And we were kind of sharing our background, and I told him about the story about the two vests. And Mark said, maybe this is something here. June of that year, maybe 3 months later, we started CFS for Life. So that's kind of the story of that. So yeah, so thanks for letting us be on here. I'd like to share three of our donors we have, 97. They're the most special to us. Let me see if I can share my screen. The first is her name is Olia. She's from Ukraine, and you know about Ukraine, what's happening there. She's a very special young lady. We gave her a vest in August of 20. Let's see if I can share this first of all. Sorry. Can you see that?
It's not showing the actual pictures. It's just like a mountain with a moon, like a generic picture for all of them.
Okay, how is this? Is that better?
No.
Still no?
So what is showing, you're sharing the folder and not the photo.
Oh, okay.
So if we, I think if you click on the photo or move the photo out the folder into your desktop.
There we go.
Okay, now you got it.
Oh, great, perfect. Okay, great. Thank you for that. Thank you. Okay, so this is Olia. She's 28 years old. She was diagnosed when she was 21 years old. So she's about seven years out. Let's see if I can move this. Okay, here we go. So I said we sent her a vest in August of 2021. So this is her cat. Since childhood, she'd been treated several times in a hospital with many problems. She was in Ukraine. They didn't have a lot of CF treatments there. Since childhood, I already said that. In 2013, she got so sick from lack of treatment, she couldn't walk. She was in a wheelchair. No doctor in Ukraine could explain what was happening to her. So like she was saying, no one told her what was wrong with her. It was in April 2014 when she decided to go abroad for treatment to Hungary, city of Debrecen. The whole city collected money for her to go to have her treatment. And the professor at that hospital told her immediately that CF was what she had. So she underwent treatment, IV treatments. That's her cat. When she eventually returned to Ukraine, there was no center for adult patients. She had no drugs. She had no basic therapy. So that was kind of that was her childhood. She got married in 2020, lighter note. That's her and her husband. In 2021, we got a vest to her. That's her with a vest. Before the war started, she worked at a charity, and she was helping patients with CF from all over the world. And she was saying her biggest dream was to become a mother. So I think it was February, the war broke, or the Russian military invaded Ukraine. The day after the invasion, Olia's father drove the mother and her from their city in, I pronounce this, Ivano-Frankivsk, from Ivano-Frankivsk to a refugee camp in Slovakia. That's her and her mother. Excuse me, it was a 6-hour drive. They got to the border, they waited for 9 hours, and they were eventually let in. Her husband had to go back to Ukraine to fight, so he's still there in Ukraine. She's given the chance to emigrate to different countries and to a different country, Eastern Europe, but she decided to stay in Slovakia because the better CF care. Excuse me. So when she got to Slovakia, she wasn't feeling well. She had IVs in the hospital. And there's a video here that kind of shows in her language what she's going through, in her words rather.
We can't hear the sound. You will have to, when you press screen share, you have to press on that little thing that says share sound.
Oh, okay. Share sound.
So
Okay, where's
You might want to restart the share, the screen share. So just, and then when you click on screen share on the bottom left, there should be a box that you
Oh,
have to click in that says share sound.
gotcha. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That again. Can you see the picture?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you for that. Let's see if you can hear her now. Let me know if you can't hear her.
Please tell me your name and your age and where are you from?
Hi, my name is Olga and I'm from Ivano-Frankivsk, it's east of Ukraine. I have 28 years old and I have cystic fibrosis disease. I moved to Slovakia 5 days ago with my mother, my husband and my dad staying at home in the war. Now I'm in hospital because I feel very bad.
So that's Olia. Those are her words. So when she was forced to flee, it was overnight. She left. She had to leave her vest behind. So Mark and I started a campaign to get a vest to replace her vest and to replace vests of other Ukrainians who have fled. So during our campaign, somebody actually gave us enough funds to send a vest to Olia. So when she's settled, we're going to send that to her. And we've been in touch with a couple other people from Ukraine. And with the funds we've raised, and we're still trying to raise funds, we will be able to send more vests to those who fled Ukraine or their lives or have to be rebuilt. So again, that's Olia and her husband. And that's her and her cat. Okay, so that's our first. Our second patient is Gautam. Actually, Mark wrote a blog on Gautam. He's a striking individual. His intelligence, his drive. We met him, Mark and I met him online about 2021. We found out what kind of person he was. Let me start the video so he can introduce himself quickly.
You're gonna have to do the same thing.
My lung function. Hello, my name is Gautam. I am from India. I'm 27-year-old and I have cystic fibrosis. My lung function have been below 20% for around 4 or 5 years. And since 1.5 years ago, I went on to full-time oxygen.
Basically, he's saying is for the past 5 years, his lung function has not been above 20%. Just kind of taking a look at the blog that Mark wrote. Gautam was saying he wasn't diagnosed with CF until he was 14. And he was a very sick child, constant cough, oral antibiotics, a couple of months each year. And Gautam said, once he was diagnosed with CF, he tried to make sure he got to see a specialist every year, despite the fact that he's more than 1,000 miles away from New Delhi. But his parents still made sure he got there every year. Let's see. I mentioned his intelligence is over the moon. He worked as a software engineer for Qualcomm India. He can explain his job more than I can. Sorry.
Oh, you put the volume all the way down.
Oh, okay. Try it. Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, I'll restart.
I do work since my graduation in 2015. I've been working at a company called Qualcomm. If you have an Android device, maybe from Samsung, Sony, LG, or Google, it will most likely be running, the chipset that will. And I was also an engineering intern there in 2014. So during the first 2-3 years, I worked on optimization of power consumption of mobile chipset to optimize the battery life of your mobile essentially. And since the last 3 years, I've been working as an artificial intelligence engineer. If your phone's camera can automatically translate what's written on an image, or can identify what's there on the image, it is mostly because of the work done by my team. And yes.
Like I said, genius, complete genius. So when Mark and I were giving, we got him a vest. He was the 25th person we've given a vest to. And it was very timely. We gave him a vest and we gave him a portable oxygen concentrator. It was very timely because that was just before the second outbreak of COVID in India. And at that time, oxygen was in very short supply. Hospitals didn't have it. So people who are not in hospitals, they obviously could not get oxygen. Let me let him explain it a little better than I could.
You will have to turn the volume up.
With the second outbreak, complete disaster for all of us. The first outbreak was all right. Not a lot of people were sick at that time. But the second outbreak has been very hard for all of us. So there's no way I can go to any hospital right now, even if I get extremely sick. And it has been very stressful for all the oxygen supplies and all in India. Thankfully to you guys, I have a portable concentrator. It has been a blessing, a complete godsend. It came just before the second outbreak. The vaccination has started.
So that's Gotham. Like I said, we gave him our 25th vest, and we've given 25th vest. And actually, we've given to the Asian region of the world, we've given exactly a quarter of our vests to that region. So we're reaching out to there are actually 2 Indian patients we're working with now. We should take that percentage to over 1/4 to the Asian region. And the last person we want to highlight is Arshad. He's from Bangladesh. He is 4 years old. So Arshad is he's second child of 3 children. He was admitted to a hospital in Bangladesh the first time with bronchitis when he was 45 days old. Of course, they couldn't identify his actual disease, but so they just sent him home in a bad condition. He was coughing continuously. He lost weight. And when he was 4 years, I guess he's not 4 years old now, but when he was 4 years old, he weighed 6 pounds.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So at the time at 4, he was admitted to another hospital in Bangladesh, and at that point was subsequently diagnosed with CF after undergoing a sweat test. The only treatment they could give him, because they didn't have much there, was Creon and 3% saline. We know that doesn't do too much. And the father said the parents are broken. CF was new to them, and CF was a disease that in Bangladesh they hadn't even officially documented. So they had no medication, no treatment. So this is a quote from the father. I was talking to him, Arshad's father. He said, "I can't tell you how much inhumane hardship it takes to bring medication for Arshad from India after a 3 or 4 month wait." He says there's no proper treatment for medicine for CF patients in Bangladesh. And also a quote from Arshad and his father. He says, you know how much we're mentally broken just thinking about Arshad's future. Please pray for him that in the coming days will be very beautiful and he will be able to breathe with relief." So Arshad is one of those that we're working to get a vest for. He'll be our first vest to Bangladesh. And gosh, if he survived at 4 years old, weighing 6 pounds, and you see his pictures where he is now, he's through spirit and will and his parents, he's done a great deal. So we're going to help him soon. Okay, so finally, since we'll be reaching our 100th vest, we're ending our first century of vest shipments. Mark found a social media consultant. She's helping us to launch a new website, refreshed Instagram accounts, refreshed LinkedIn accounts, refreshed Facebook posts. So we have high hopes. So we'll be entering our 2nd century of vest givings, and we're very excited for the future.
That's amazing. That's so cool, 100 vests.
Yeah, it's been about 20 months. And I have to give much credit to Mark's wife. She's really the key to this, because Mark and I, we can't touch vests since, we both have CF, of course. His wife does not. So all the vests that are shipped go to his wife, and she cleans them spick and span. It's a 2-hour process, Mark tells me. Nothing leaves the shop until she gets her stamp approval. So if she doesn't give the stamp, she doesn't clean, nothing goes out. So none of this would happen without Mark's wife.
That's amazing. Props to her.
So it just takes me a little to recover from that, because I read we My name is Mark Tremblay, and I'm very blessed to be a partner with Rod in this endeavor. And I, at my age, having had CF, for 53 years, diagnosed pretty darn young, it's so amazing to kind of have lived through what I've lived through. I was diagnosed in 1970. So the way I analogize it and the way I'm going to open is the treatments when I was in 1970 are similar to the treatment environment that we're dealing with in most of the countries where we're operating, if that can be, understood, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're 50 or more years behind. Some of the countries we're operating, like Africa, they're, basically they're operating in a way that they're not treating the disease. So here's kind of a different take on this organization that I think I've been asked to provide because I write quite a bit for CF Roundtable and try to kind of get the story of this organization out there. I'm going to make a couple of statements here that are going to seem on their face to be kind of bizarre. One of them is this is probably the most economically efficient nonprofit I've ever experienced. Now that's saying a lot because I think it's always weird when CF patients talk about themselves, but in some ways I think it's not unimportant to do that because a lot of CF patients, I think Gotham's a great example. We're CF patients second, and we're who we are, and we our accomplishments in terms of the world and our careers are noteworthy, even if we didn't have CF. I think there's a lot of people, and there's a lot, there's the full measure of who we are, and part of that for me is that I worked for 26 years as a healthcare economist, and just a couple kind of somewhat noteworthy things. I worked in the governor's office here in New York State for 6 years. I was one of the first people who went down to Lower Manhattan after 9/11, and we funded and kind of built out the Project Liberty program that was covered 44,000 mental health clinics after that disaster, and worked on that for 2 years. So I know a little bit about government programs and public policy, and so I want to talk about, I want to support the assertion I just made regarding this being an efficient organization. So you give $1 to CFS for Life, and this is what becomes of that dollar. So that dollar is going to be leveraged to build our inventory. Now we have an inventory. We've had an inventory, if you take the total activity of the inventory, over $1 million. So that dollar is going to leverage an inventory that represents an abundance on the part of the CF community, mostly the CF community in this country, where because of the excellent drugs we have available in the healthcare environment that we operate in and we live in, the value of these products just isn't that high. The actual, like when I say value, I mean the economic value. I mean, a Hill-Rom vest, which is worth $66,000 in India, is worth nothing to us. Almost all our insurance covers them. They've become all but obsolete for a lot of people because they've gone on modulators, even though I know the research isn't there in terms of saying we don't have to do our treatments anymore. There's a large number of CF patients that simply just don't do the vest anymore. So it's literally worth, I mean, from an economic standpoint, our inventory is worth almost nothing in this country compared to what it's worth in the countries where we serve folks. So let me give you an idea of this just from that standpoint. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the public policy of this when a little later. But so we take an inventory it's a rotating inventory of about $1 million, and for just delivering that vest to India, Gotham said that it would take 1.5 years of his salary to get that vest. Okay, I mean that's a huge financial impact, right? So let's take another example. We gave him a POC right after the second COVID outbreak. Do you know what people were paying for a container of oxygen when we gave him that POC? $14,000 a month to get a POC supply.
Wow.
So what we're able to leverage in terms of taking something that, you know, is of so little value in this country, and by just getting it to these other countries, we build the economic value of those devices just from that transport alone, not even getting into the quality of life issues and stuff, but somewhere in the range, like we helped someone in South Africa, there, based on a pretty extensive analysis of the economic situation there, and just to give you an idea of kind of like where they're at, the lady who we were helping, she went into the hospital. They only have acute care. So when you're really sick or dying, then you get to go into the hospital. Now, while we were serving her, the hospital was bombed in a guerrilla attack during that time period. And so initially she was getting okay care at the hospital that was, hours and hours away. But towards the end, she wasn't getting care. It just wasn't. So the last time she went in, they didn't even do a sputum culture because they said we only have one antibiotic. So hopefully that'll work. So let's take that example. Vests literally aren't available there. It's not even an option. No one knows how to do percussive treatment like we used to have back in the 70s, and still do. Some people do that. So it's hard to even measure what the value of that vest was. And so just take that, like kind of walk that out like mathematically, right? So you give $1, we're gonna use that to leverage a totally donated inventory that is worth very little in this country, but is invaluable in these other places we serve. So then, so what else does that dollar get you? Well, so that dollar is basically going to be matched, let's say, by $10 of value that we're going to add just by shipping that equipment to countries where it's either completely unavailable or it's cost prohibitive. And when I say cost prohibitive, by magnitudes of 10. So then the next thing we're going to do is get it there. This is the biggest challenge we face because many of the countries we operate in have value-added tax. The value of this equipment is perceived in their dollars, right? Customs people are processing this in their dollars. But by building relationships with literally hundreds and hundreds of people, we've been able to, and largely due to Rod's efforts, we've been able to operate as a humanitarian organization that enables us to get out of the VAT. I mean, the VAT costs for some of this equipment, the value added tax, is 20% on value in these other countries. So, for one piece of equipment that we weren't able to get around the VAT was $3,200, and we hadn't even paid customs yet. So, I mean, that alone. So let's take a place like Beirut, right, where Muhammad lived. Well, that's an interesting from an economic perspective because he was a Palestinian refugee, which means he has literally no rights. He is illegally occupying that country from their own country's perception. So getting equipment to him not only has enormous economic value from the standpoint of being able to provide a good that he simply cannot access, but we had to pass through barriers that say he simply can't get care. His father can't even work, technically. I mean, there's underground markets and situations like that, but so that's an immense value. So now let's take the other piece, and unfortunately, economics, life has value in this, and it's not as high as we might think. So life overall is worth about $85,000. If you just conservatively estimate the time we've added, because now we've been in an organization long enough that we can see kind of people coming to the end of their life, and the length of time that they've had, with CF, but to be with their families and to be doing things they enjoy and everything else, we have seen that go from, what the best experts at the time say is a certain time span. And then through interventions like POX and stuff, we've seen, measurable growth in that time span. So just in the human life value, we've probably built somewhere in the neighborhood of $220,000 of days. And that doesn't even get into the emotional aspect of it. So, I mean, if you take all that, basically donating $1 to CFvests for Life is equivalent to donating about $18, because that's how much we leverage your dollar. Because we're able to do all these things that we do to make these miracles possible in these other places. Another thing you might say, because in terms of public policy, in terms of program evaluation, if you will, is, well, isn't like the people that access this, how do you prevent people who have means and otherwise maybe could afford this equipment, because there are people in these other countries, tends to be people at the top of the socioeconomic strata that can afford anything. They can literally, they have the first access, they have the best, whatever. So the interesting thing about that is that our organization is incredibly efficient from that standpoint, because even though we operate primarily on social media to bring in people that request equipment, we actually, for a time period, we actually did means testing, because we were worried that we might end up inadvertently providing a free $60,000 vest to someone who's has significant means, and that means that vest doesn't go to someone who's in extreme poverty and extreme poor access, right? So if we send, it's just like, in a sense, think of it like transplants. Like if we send a vest to someone who, could otherwise afford the vest or otherwise access the vest, then it doesn't go to someone who might be in a much more hopeless or poor probability situation, right? Because we only have a finite number of vests. We have an inventory. We're very blessed to have, people constantly giving. So we did that for almost 6 months. And we found that categorically in every situation, we stopped doing it, because people really were at the worst, most, the lowest strata of their own economies, their own countries. And we felt great about that, because a lot of organizations, a lot of social humanitarian organizations struggle with that. Because what you don't want to do, and often happens, particularly in countries where the government or the judicial structures might not be that solid, is corruption is rampant. To kind of like highlight that a little bit is we sent a vest to South Africa, and it was put into a warehouse, we were told, and we were basically extorted that if we paid an additional $4,000, we could get that vest out to the recipient. So it's not uncommon at all in the in the environments where we're dealing with, where there's, you know, for lack of a better word, there's massive inefficiencies because of corruption and everything else. Because these, you know, a lot of the places where we operate, not only are there not healthcare structures, but there's not like the basic structures that we kind of like that are very normal in this country are simply non-existent in those countries. So I think that's pretty remarkable that we are able to, unique really, compared to any other organization, particularly that operates, you know, in so many different countries. We're able to basically turn donation dollars, if you fully kind of walk it out, almost into $20. Your $1 means, like, if you look at the whole world and all the different things we're doing, your $1 will leverage about $20 in value in you know, through the work we do. So it's pretty remarkable, and I love being part of this organization. I love that you know, that Rod and I had that discussion 20 months ago. So it's just a different way to think about you know, about kind of what we do, and it's you know, it's definitely nerdy, but it's I think something that we may not often kind of conceive things that way. And certainly it's something that when our organization comes to people's minds, you know, they think about the miracles, but they don't think about how efficiently we're able to deliver those miracles. So I just thought your folks might, you know, like to hear that. And I'm glad that you gave us the opportunity to share the people's lives we've touched and a little more about our organization. If you do have any questions, if you're seeing this either on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you see this, feel free to you know, email us or reach out to us. I know we've on Facebook, like Rod mentioned, we're going to have a new website. You can reach out to me personally at the organization. It's just mark@CFvests4life.org. And you know, we'd love to talk to you about what we do. And I'm just really excited for the next 100. You know, when we first started this, I remember having very aspirational conversations with Rod that we will get to 1,000. And to put that in perspective, I estimate we have 30,000 people with CF about in this country. There's another 40,000 people we know about in the world. And about 30,000 of those people are in healthcare structures, or there is no healthcare structure, where they don't have access to vests, they don't have access to modulators, they don't have access to specific antibiotics when they're treated. And we are able to buy time for those people until hopefully their, you know, their healthcare structures and their countries can approve modulators, can adopt some of the state-of-the-art treatment that we're blessed with. And I love being part of this because, you know, buying that time is everything to us. So, so again, thanks for the opportunity. Thank you, Strollo, for giving us this platform. And I don't know if Rod has any more comments.
I don't know. Yeah, Mark did a great job. Like Mark said, thank you for this opportunity. We're trying to reach the entire world. We've reached 28 countries now. It'll be 29 end of the month, and there's just so much need out there. Like Mark said, there's those who I talk to parents mostly, and they're just so desperate for what we have. I mean, we can, kind of like Mark was saying at the beginning, we don't think much of it because insurance pays for it. But talking to someone in Pakistan or someone in Bangladesh who can't even think of having a vest, to know that there's an organization out there that can provide it to them is more than gold. We can only do this because of the generosity of people who give us monetary donations, equipment donations. So we want to thank too all of you who I know there are many of you who are watching who've helped us. Thank you for that. And anybody who has a vest sitting, like Mark used to say, we don't want any vest sitting closets. Anybody who's got a vest, even a vest machine, a vest garment, even if you have a vest hose, we will take everything, because like just yesterday, I got a message from someone else we donated to. His hose was damaged. So we had to get him a hose. The machine is no good without the hose. So if you think you have something small with the vest, no one has need for it, we have a need for it. Please contact us either on our website, Mark at CFvests4life, Rod at CFvests4life, or any way you can, Facebook, any way you can get a hold of us, get a hold of us. I'll respond to you, and we'll get your equipment.
And we also need personal oxygen concentrators. I know those are a little harder to come by, and we need compressors. A lot of the people we're dealing with just have nothing. And particularly the ones who are on oxygen, their prospects are very poor. So getting them a personal oxygen concentrator is literally a game changer. So we really appreciate all the support we've had in this last 20 months. And we're so excited to be getting, we're right there at 100 people. And it's just incredible. So thank you.
Thank you for coming on here and telling us about CFvests4life and sharing those personal stories of people you've helped. That was really impactful, and putting the dollar amount into perspective. I have a question. So Rod knows I have a vest I still need to send to you guys. And then an old, it probably needs to be serviced. I don't know, for the personal oxygen concentrator. It's old and it was like starting to make noises, but I'll send it to you guys and you guys can see what you can do. It only goes up to 3 liters and it's like a pulse rate. So it's not continuous, but it's something. So if you're good at tinkering and fixing or know somebody who can fix it, then it's all yours. Just let me know how I clean it. And then you send me like a packing slip. That's how it works. And then I just send it off into FedEx.
Yeah. And if you can't clean it, Mary Grace, she can do it according to the recommended, transmission mitigation procedures for each piece. Like that's probably one of the things we put the most importance is in terms of quality deliveries, because it's for some it's life and death. We need, we know we all have CF and we know cross transmission is an issue, and we know that we're very intimate with our equipment, and they will be too.
Okay.
As long as we're on that topic, I'll tell you just kind of briefly, when someone reaches out to me, they say they have a vest to donate, and they always ask, do you need it? And the response is I get back to them immediately. As soon as I see their email, I get back to them soon. It's a very simple process. I just ask them to clean it. I give them instructions, brief instructions how to clean it, because it goes through twice. They clean it, the donor cleans it, gives it to Mary Grace, Mark's wife, she cleans it. So it's very simple. I just say, clean it and give me your address, give me your email, give me your phone number, and I'll make you a FedEx slip. And like Rima was saying, I'll forward you via email the FedEx slip. The machine goes to Mark's wife, she cleans it, and it goes straight out. It's a very efficient process. So like I say, just reach out to me. I will get your information. We will collect that vest from you.
Do I need to weigh it? Do I put it in a box, or does FedEx do that for me? I'll just bring them as is and then they'll box it up.
Yeah, it's really efficient the way it works. I just, when I put the label together, I just say I give it dimensions, and you can take it to FedEx. FedEx will box it. If you can't find the box, we will pay for it. I'll let you know our account number. So just take it to FedEx, say I need to purchase a box, our account number, we paid for it, it goes out. So it's really simple. Just take the vest to FedEx. That's all you have to do, and you can leave.
Okay.
Well,
And then I know that there's not much, I don't have a box or a container that the oxygen concentrator came in. Like I have the case that the vest came in, but like, I just want to make sure it doesn't get, jostled around and broken in whatever box they put in. Hopefully they know that it's very fragile.
They do a good job, but if you want, you can watch them, and they have all kinds of packing material. Like you say, tell them it's fragile and watch them. Like when I first gave the first vest, when I first gave that away, I watched a lady, she brought all kinds of packing material because this is the first vest ever. I didn't know how it was going to work. So I
Right.
told her to pack up as much as possible. And she put newspaper and whatever they have. So, I mean, that's, yeah. So, I mean, that's a good idea. Just watch them pack it and then you can leave.
Okay, awesome. I'll email you after this with, was it my address, my email, and my phone number? Or
Yeah.
what was it? Okay.
And if you forget something, I'll just email you back and say, could I get whatever you're missing?
Right. Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, we're literally transplanting your life-giving equipment. Who in many ways they don't have, it's just, it's not even an option, you know, absent this organization. The other thing is I just want to kind of level set in terms of, Rod, how many requests do we have pending now?
Oh gosh. I've literally talked to over 100 people. Oh, gosh, probably about 125 people. It's in various stages. I keep a spreadsheet.
I know.
So
So the point is that when you donate to us, you can't imagine the volume we're dealing with. So we might not get your piece of equipment like now, but the choke really is the shipping and the volume. I mean, we could easily be an organization that's 10 times this size. And I don't know that we would be able to accommodate the massive volume of requests we're receiving. So be patient with us when you send us equipment. It will definitely get in the hands of needy folks. You know, people that we've, you know, the stories I hope that you connect with that we've talked about. It just takes time because we are a small organization trying to do really big things. And, you know, Rod's tireless in talk. I mean, try to imagine handling that many relationships. So it's just, it's something that's pretty incredible. And that would be the one thing I would say. If you donate to us, it will take time, but we will definitely transplant your life-giving equipment.
To Mark's point, these days I'm getting requests like about three a day. Kind of the way I'm finding, like I'll put on Facebook, we gave a vest to so-and-so in Kosovo. I will then get 3 requests from Kosovo. And then maybe the day before we send something to Romania. I will get 5 vests requests from Romania. And it's all different stages. So I mean, it all works, but yeah, like Mark was saying, we get so many requests. So please be patient. But with that, if you have a vest, please.
Yeah, exactly. we need the inventory where, you know, it's just, so yeah, don't hesitate. We will deal with all the costs, anything, make sure the equipment gets to us safely. You know, we will, you know, treat it like it's, you know, the most valuable of items, because for the folks that we're serving, it really is. So again, I really appreciate all the support we've gotten from the CF community and from everyone that's, you know, donated, and just, it's also the encouraging words and, you know, just, you know, believe me, it all means something to us. So.
Thank you so much for being here and starting CF Vest for Life. Amazing, amazing nonprofit.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just have one question, just one, before we let you go. So let's say if someone has like surplus medications, who would they be able to give that to? Can they send that to you as well, or just Vest?
They can contact me. Some do. We have a relationship with the hospital who we're actually kind of partnering with them with people who receive vests. And they'll take certain medications out. If this hospital will take whatever medication, say someone comes to me and says, I have these certain medications, I'll check with the doctor, can you take them? The doctor takes them. We'll make sure that medication gets the doctor. So I mean, gosh, anything, just email me anything.
And the doctor specializes in CF, so they will get in the hands of CF patients. It's just that we need that partnership, because handling medications requires like an additional license, which I don't think we'll ever get.
Right.
And because what we do is, I believe, important enough, you know, and it's life-changing enough. you can't traffic medications. You know, we can't distribute medications. Like we don't have that kind of certifications and licenses, and we certainly can operate internationally with medications. However, we do have a partnership with someone who I guarantee will get it in the hands of CF patients, and you know, and they work with us with a lot of our foreign folks. So yeah, I would say that just send it. You know, that famous phrase from TikTok, just send it. You know, whenever you think about it, just send it. We will make sure it gets in the hands of needy CF folks, and it will, you know, and to change their lives. So.
Thank you. It was very informative and a lot of the great information.
Thank you.
Yeah, we really just, I mean, I can't believe how the CF community has embraced this organization, and I just, this being involved in this organization has just shown me the absolute best in people. Like it just literally, I mean, I know it makes me want to do more, be more, you know, be a better representative for CF. Just so many things, because you can't be part of this organization without feeling that energy. So thank you.
Thank you so much for being here, guys. Yeah, so thank you for being here, and I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day and weekend coming up. And thank you to our sponsors, Chiesi, Beatrice, and Nestle Health Science. So, all right, it was good to see you guys.
See you. Thank you.
Bye.
And now we're ending the live stream.